holistic health and nutrition expert, vegetarian athlete, and Veggie Brothers founder, Michael Balducci.
Actually boiling away the nutrients. So it's not only about eating the plants, but I think it's preparation as well.
It's true, but for the purposes of getting people started, we could spend hours just talking about the different, there's the macrobiotic vegan diet, there's a raw food vegan diet. I think for people, they have to take their first step. You're absolutely right. And I encourage people truly, because the research on raw living foods is incredible.
So with all this research that you're mentioning and all the benefits that you're pointing out, why do you think Americans are not eating this way? Why do you think they're not eating vegan and still consuming yes, the meat and the bad stuff?
Well, I hit on a few of these points already. One, it's education. We just don't know. We don't know the difference between a macronutrient and micronutrient. What we know that animal foods have no fiber, and we want fiber in our system because fiber helps gently scrape along the intestinal lining, scraping along debris and toxins, and also binds with toxins, helps to get it out of the system, and helps us with our weight issues, helps us with colon and other problems that otherwise could develop. Once we learn that animal foods are clogging, plant-based foods are cleansing, that first and foremost is an important factor. And then when you factor in educating ourselves about the suffering of animals, the environment, and the economic impacts, we start.
So almost like a vegan diet is more like food for fuel rather than, because it almost seems like you're eating the right things to help you keep going. Is that right?
It's not only keep us going, it's keep the planet going. It's keep the animals alive. We're expending so many resources, through the factory. Did you know the factory farming industry is the #1 contributor to global warming, more than all cars, planes, trains, and automobiles? So, and it takes 16 pounds of grain to go into 1 pound of we get out 1 pound of hamburger. It's not sustainable. We have 1.1 billion people that are starving, yet we have 1.1 billion people that are obese. They say that there's enough resources on the planet for everyone's need, but not everyone's greed. So making a plant-based choice is healthy for not us, but the planet and the environment.
All right, we have to take a quick commercial break, but we'll talk more about that when we come back. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us here on Eye in Ocean County. I'm Christina Seco, and joined once again by Michael Balducci, the president and founder of VeggieBrothers.com, who is also a board-certified holistic health counselor. Michael, before the break, we were talking about, the types of foods, and we keep saying vegetarians and vegans. What's the difference between the two?
Okay, there's many different kinds of classifications. A vegan is one that chooses not to eat anything other than plant-sourced foods. So a vegan will not eat dairy. A vegan will not even eat honey because it comes from a bee. I'm talking about truly plant-based, nothing else. They don't want to harm any animal or insect in the process of them attaining their food intake. A vegetarian is one that will eat dairy and honey because it doesn't require the slaughtering of the animal, whereas a vegan does not want to have the slaughtering of the animal involved. The vegetarian doesn't want to have the slaughtering of the animal involved, but the vegetarian will have some products that are made from animals or insects or what have you that are just that are there, but that as long as they're not slaughtered, they'll have it. And then there's various different types of vegetarians. There's ovo-vegetarians, which are vegetarians that have eggs. There's lacto-vegetarians, which are vegetarians that have dairy. There's pesce vegetarians, which are vegetarians that consume fish. And then there's something that is a new wave where people are learning the benefits of vegetarian and veganism, and they are not wanting to give up meat completely or animal products completely, but they're realizing the benefits, they're seeing the benefits, and I suggest anyone who's watching the show, please consider trying it for 10 days, giving up meat, for 10 days, and see the effects on your own body. And of course, work with your practitioner. Don't change any diet without their help, but give it a shot. But there's something called flexitarianism. Flexitarianism is something that's very easy for people to get into. It's where somebody's like vegetarian, but like 70% of the time.
Right. Now, you mentioned the pescatarian or the fishitarian. Okay, now that was something that I tried, and for 3 months I didn't eat the meat, and I have to tell you, the one thing that I missed was chicken nuggets. And this actually, what do we have here? Because it smells like it actually smells like a McDonald's chicken nugget, to be honest. And I'm dying to taste one. But what do we have here?
Well, what we have are vegan chicken nuggets, and this is provided from VeggieBrothers.com. What I wanted to do is, as my own difficulties on staying with a vegan diet for years, was that I longed for the foods I grew up with. Sure. And I wanted to sit at the table and not me eat a salad and somebody eat a steak, but I want to say, hey, you can eat what I'm eating and I can eat what you're eating, and how about this, where we meet in the middle, where it's a bridge, so you can have your favorite foods without feeling like you're giving up anything. It's made from soy and wheat and various other ingredients and spices, and that's it. And there's technology now. We can make vegan pepperoni and vegan sausage. We can do anything now.
And it almost looks like there's honey mustard. So it's,
and that is a vegan honey mustard. What's the substitute for honey? It's something called agave nectar. It comes from the cactus. It tastes, looks like, and smells like honey. You'll taste it. The chicken nugget tastes, looks like, and smells like it, and it allows us to enjoy the foods without having to give up protein. But we have high fiber. We got high protein coming from plant-based, which is more compatible in a lot of researchers' opinions than animal protein, and it's got no cholesterol and no animal saturated fat. So if you want to try
I definitely want to try them. But while I'm tasting this, because I think for me the problem was, like, I missed those foods. So how could, baby steps for somebody at home who's saying, hey, maybe I'd like to become vegan or vegetarian, what advice do you have for them?
Again, I'm going to say the first thing they need to do is become educated, because the food is only great, and you only stick to it if you know the reasons behind it. So the food coupled with the information really helps person solidify their commitment. So I would say there's organizations like PETA, Action for Animals, Vegetarian Resource Group, Vegan Outreach. You can just look up information on Google and you can learn. There's the great book by T. Cone Campbell, The China Study. There's so that's the first step. The second step is go to happycow.net, local area, look up your health food stores where you can find abundant vegetarian, vegan meat substitutes in health food stores. They're starting to pop up in some regular supermarkets, which is good. And then, of course, you can go to VeggieBrothers.com, where we'll just ship it to you. And unlike stuff that may find in the supermarket, well, we're providing stuff that's actually made by people and chefs. So it's going to taste like a 4-star vegan restaurant experience when you get our food.
I have to tell you that these are delicious, and I'm and not to say I'm surprised, but I was a little anxious to try them, but they're very good. They do taste like chicken. They're just less greasy.
Slightly.
And the fact that there's fiber in here, I mean, I'm always trying to add fiber to my diet.
Fiber is so important. It really helps with so many different things.
They're really good. Now, people, you mentioned VeggieBrothers.com. They can look for all sorts of foods that you had mentioned that people are cutting out of their diets. And there's other restaurants like in Ocean County and the shore areas that people can actually. There's restaurants. You brought a menu here.
There's not many, but here's a restaurant. This goes to tell you, and here's a doctor who's a naturopathic doctor in Atlantic City area, and he saw some great benefits from getting his clients off of animal products, and he opened up a pizzeria. He came to me and said, Mike, help me develop the vegan menu. So this is Veggie Pizza Grill on 500 North Albany Avenue, Atlantic City, and they got this huge vegan menu so you can go there and you can have pizza with vegan sausage, and you can have hot and spicy buffalo wings and sausage and peppers and mahi and Maryland crab cakes, all vegan. And you can go to this place. You want to have some fun. You get to the weekend. You go to Atlantic City. Stop by Veggie Pizza Grill.
So there are places there's more and more places that are coming up, and so if it's something that people want to try and really make part of their lifestyle, it's not as difficult as it used to be.
It's not as difficult as it used to be, because it's like a paradox. You can have at least initially, you may not want to do this forever, but you can have the same food you're eating. You can eat what you're eating and change your diet without changing your diet. You have sausage, eggs, and bacon for breakfast. You have a burger for lunch, a steak for dinner. You can have the same thing, but it's all vegan.
All vegan. And of course, well, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us and for sharing some of these products with us. And if you want to try some of these products, you can go to VeggieBrothers.com. And for more information about becoming vegan or just learning about it, you can log on to livevegan.org. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Eye on Ocean County.